Assalamualaikum. Taiba here, and you are watching your own channel, Audio Visual Books. I have started a new session of editorials and opinions for you so that you may get connected with the newspapers and the books which you don't have time to read. So, I am here to record for you. It is an opinion from my Daily Dawn of 4th June 2020, and it is Thousands Still Missing by I.R Rehman. Since the issue of COVID 19 has been decided that those who cannot avoid getting infected cannot be saved, and those in command are not open to changing their views, there is no point in talking about the epidemic for the moment. Instead, let us divert our attention to a festering sore that seems to have disappeared from the executive's radar altogether. Last month, APP reported that the chairman of the Commission of the Inquiry on Enforced Disappearances, Collide, had, through his personal efforts, and disposed of no less than 4,523 cases of missing persons till April 30, 2020. Great credit is due to retired Justice Javed Iqbal, who, despite his heavy responsibilities as NAB chief, has not given up the chairmanship of the Commission on Disappearances. The number of cases disposed of till May 31 has risen to 4,544 out of 6,674 cases reported to the Commission over 9 years. But their figures conceal the unmitigated suffering of thousands of families who have been virtually dying every day every day out of fear that their loved ones will never return. The collate figures for Balochistan have never satisfied any keen observer. Between March 1, 2011 and March 1, 2020, only 483 cases were reported till May 31, 2020. It is said that 334 cases have been disposed of and that only 164 are pending. Who can believe these figures? Even by correlate reckoning, 2,130 cases are still pending. The 6,674 cases reported to colloid represent a smaller figure for enforced disappearances because the large number has not been reported for a variety of reasons. Out of the 4,544 cases disposed of, 3,598 persons are said to have been traced, but the number of persons who are said to have returned home in 2053, the other persons said to have been traced included 23 detainees at internment centers and 510 in prison facing trials, while 213 have died and 948 cases were dropped as not being instances of enforced disappearances. A preliminary question is, why did it take the authorities such a long time to trace the missing persons who were rotting in internment centers and prisons? And the fact that even by the colloid's reckoning, 2,130 cases are still pending in cause for concern. That is not a small number of lives at stake. What is the situation now after 9 years of efforts by the college to recover the missing persons? This year's figure showed that in January there were 50 new complaints and 69 were disposed of. In February, the figures were 48 and 42. In March, 24 and 37. In April, 33 and 10. And in May, 13 and 21. The most significant fact about this year figures is that enforced disappearances are still being reported even during the last 3 months when COVID 19 had made travel and postal communication virtually impossible and the college office was not supposed to be open. 17 new complaints were received. That many cases could not have been reported cannot be denied. Enforced disappearances thus remains a live and critical issue. What does the college say about its achievement from February to May 2020? In February, 29 people were traced, 14 returned home, 15 comprised. The rest of the cases is that is cases dropped, dead bodies found, or persons detained or on bail. In March 20 were traced 19 returned, 17 comprised at rest. In the same order, the April figures show 6, 5, 4, and May 14, 13, and 7. An analysis of 41 persons who were said to have returned home shows that 14 of them belong to Punjab, 9 to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 6 to Islamabad, 3 each of Karachi, Azad Kashmir, and the tribal agencies, 2 to Balochistan, and 1 to Gilgit Baltistan. Among those who are said to have returned home, the number of people saying that they had gone away somewhere without informing their families has shown a sharp increase. The possibility that these persons made up such stories in order to escape retaliation by law enforcement agencies certainly deserves to be probed. Many other cases attract suspicion of concealment. Shahid Hussain from Karachi was reported missing in 2015, and it was in January 2020 when that he was said to have returned home. No information is provided as to where he had for more than 4 years. Maulana Gulzada from Peshawar disappeared in 2017 and was found on February 26, 2020, to have returned home. Similarly, Abdullah from Peshawar disappeared in 2016 and was reported to have returned on February 6, 2020. Abdul Wahab from Rawalpindi disappeared in 2014 and said he was kept in confinement for 2.5 years. By whom Muhammad Aslam from Muzaffargarh was picked up from Abbas in 2017 and released after 2.5 years. He could not recognize his tormentors. And Nasar Abbas from Bakhar was picked up in July 2017 and released in December 2019. Subhanallah from Lahore was lucky. He was picked up in May 2019 and released in December of the same year. Rahimullah from Rawalpindi was also fortunate. He was picked up in August 2019 and released the same month. Muhammad Jafiz Naveed from Multan was abducted on August 8, 2019 and released on March 5, 2020. It was the duty of the college to ascertain who had picked up the persons mentioned here and report them to the competent authority for the necessary action. The need to seriously address the issue of disappearances is clear. For years, the UN Working Group of Enforced Disappearances has been calling upon the government to reconstitute the present commission, increase its financial and human resources, and declare enforced disappearances a criminal offense. The government must also release the 2010 report prepared by 3 retired judges that will reveal how disappearances are affected and by whom. It is also time Pakistan ratified the UN Convention on the subject. A bill to declare enforced disappearances was introduced in Parliament in 2014 and to make disappearances a criminal offense. If the government wants to make a better law, the time is now. Please like and subscribe for more audio visuals. Thank you.